In America, cars are almost part of the national identity. Not having a car means going almost nowhere because public transportation here is so poor that everyone is frustrated. But Texas is at an interesting turning point. The population is growing so fast that it is expected to increase by nearly 40% in just a few decades, forcing the state to reconsider its transportation strategy. And surprisingly, they are not taking the familiar path, continuing to build more highways. Instead, Texas wants to build a more robust rail system, a direction that many people are not happy to hear because it is so different from traditional American transportation thinking. Could Texas finally end America's awful transit tradition? Let's find out with On the Trains. Texas's traffic situation. Texas is facing a real transportation crisis. Over the past 2 decades, the state's population has grown so rapidly that almost nowhere else has kept up. According to the Connecting Texas 2050 report, from 2000 to 2022, Texas' population increased by 43%, surpassing 30 million people. Between 2010 and 2022 alone, Texas added more than 4 million new residents, the equivalent of a new mid-sized city every year. And the remarkable thing is that this rate is still accelerating. It is predicted that by 2050, Texas could reach 40 million people, adding more than 9 million more in less than 3 decades. This population explosion is not evenly distributed, but is concentrated in major economic centers such as Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. The Dallas-Fort Worth area alone is projected to see a 44% increase in population by 2050, while suburban counties like Collin, Denton, Fort Bend, Williamson, and Hayes could even double their 2010 population. The result is that Texas's roads are severely congested, as despite continued highway expansion, construction cannot keep up with the growth of new vehicles. It's not hard to see this in real life. In Dallas-Fort Worth, the beltways and intercity freeways are nearly gridlocked during rush hour. Houston is so dense with traffic that adding lanes is only a temporary solution. And Austin, especially along I-35, has long been a familiar image of a city that has grown too fast but whose infrastructure has not matured. The underlying reason lies in Texas's long-standing reliance on its road system and private cars. But as the population grows faster than the road network, congestion is almost inevitable. Unfortunately, while the roads have expanded, the passenger rail system in Texas has grown very slowly. Currently, Texas has almost no real interregional or interurban rail network. Amtrak operates, but the frequency is low and the speed is not suitable for daily use. The Dallas-Fort Worth DART has been in operation for many years but still has many limitations, to the point that suburban cities such as Plano, Irving, Highland Park, and Farmers Branch have considered leaving the system because they believe they are spending a lot of money but not getting a fair return. This shows that public transportation in Texas today is fragmented, unconnected, and has not created enough trust and attraction to make people give up their personal cars. Therefore, Texas is forced to change its approach. Instead of just building more roads, Texas needs a multimodal transportation system, one where rail, bus, bike, walking, and urban-rural transportation seamlessly connect. And that's why TxDOT released the Texas Statewide Multimodal Transportation Plan 2050. Unlike previous plans that focus solely on highway expansion, SMTP 2050 aims to build a transportation network that is complete, safe, sustainable, and most importantly, able to accommodate population growth over the next 25 years. The plan is based not only on expert analysis, but also on the voices of Texans. Over the course of 18 months, TxDOT collected more than 2,900 survey responses and directly reached out to more than 2,000 people at libraries, community centers, fairs, and even sports games, all to understand what people really need. Interestingly, many people still think Texans just love to drive. But TxDOT's survey shows the opposite. 86% of Texans say improving public transportation is very important, and more than 90% support upgrading and expanding existing routes. Clearly, as the population grows so fast that roads can't keep up, people themselves understand that they need more options than their cars. They need a public transportation system that's fast enough, convenient enough, and connected enough to truly compete with driving, not the sparse trains or fragmented bus networks we have today. So what's the specific plan for change? Let's find out in the next section. And first, we need 10,000 subscribers. And don't forget, you're the driving force behind us getting there. Thank you. Rail and other transportation development. One of the most prominent and highly appreciated features of the Texas SMTP 2050 plan is the strategy to develop a passenger rail system. This is considered an important pillar to reduce pressure on the overloaded road and highway network in large cities. TxDOT is planning to build a rail network connecting major cities in the Texas Triangle, including Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin. The plan also aims to expand the train system in major cities, develop new high-speed train lines using modern technology to improve speed, safety, and comfort for passengers. At the same time, TxDOT is researching the integration of technological utilities such as electronic tickets, real-time update systems, and multimedia connections to enhance the travel experience. However, realizing the rail plan is not simple. The cost of building and operating modern rail lines is huge, requiring stable financial resources and close coordination between government levels, transport organizations, and communities. On the other hand, the differentiation of needs between suburban and urban areas is also a big challenge, requiring flexible and equitable solutions. In addition to rail, the Texas SMTP 2050 plan also prioritizes the development of diverse public transport means to create an integrated and convenient transport system for people. One of them is to expand the bus system, especially bus rapid transit routes with separate lanes, scientific stops, and stable operating schedules, helping to reduce travel time in urban and suburban areas. In addition, active transportation such as walking and cycling is also focused on development by TxDOT. The plan proposes to build dedicated safe routes for pedestrians and cyclists, contributing to improving public health and minimizing negative impacts on the environment. This is a trend in line with the sustainable development model applied by many large cities in the world. In addition, new transportation technologies such as electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and smart traffic management applications are also part of TxDOT's long-term strategy to create a modern, efficient, and environmentally friendly transportation ecosystem. Challenges and opportunities. One of the first is the sheer size of the state's road system. Texas has the largest road network in the United States, but that makes maintenance, repair, and upgrades increasingly expensive. Increased traffic, aging infrastructure, and more extreme weather events are straining budgets and staff. Keeping things running smoothly is difficult, let alone expanding. Not only that, Texas is still plagued by a one-size-fits-all approach to planning. Rail, bus, road, air, and freight operate largely in isolation, with no connection to each other. This leaves many communities, especially rural or remote areas, with limited access to jobs, education, and essential services simply because they lack the right means of transportation. Texas's freight system, which is considered an important gateway for North American trade, is also facing enormous pressure. It is forecasted that by 2050, the volume of goods passing through Texas will double. This means that roads, seaports, and border crossings will have to bear enormous pressure, which can easily lead to congestion, delays, and higher logistics costs if not upgraded in time. At the same time, the explosion of new transportation technologies such as autonomous vehicles, artificial intelligence, smart logistics, and the wave of electric vehicles also force Texas to adjust policies and invest in new infrastructure. Texas is expected to reach 1 million electric vehicles by 2031, 4 times the current number, requiring charging stations, power grids, and operating regulations to be prepared or else it will break down. But despite the difficulties, Texas also has many opportunities to truly transform and possibly even break the poor traffic cycle that has characterized the United States for decades. First, Texas is in a great position to take advantage of technology and innovation through the Cooperative and Automated Transportation (CAT) program, which has more than 50 initiatives. Texas can deploy autonomous vehicles, smart infrastructure, AI-powered traffic management systems, and modern logistics applications that not only make transportation smoother but also significantly increase safety. Second, closer coordination between government agencies, private businesses, local communities, and civil society organizations is creating a good foundation for implementing cross-regional and cross-sectoral projects. As multimodal planning becomes more comprehensive, transportation projects will be closer to the real needs of the people. Third, the Texas economy is too strong to push for change. By 2050, Texas employment is forecast to increase by 50%, and the value of transported goods will increase by 151%. These numbers are the driving force for strong investment in seaports, border crossings, and interregional rail lines, which will make Texas the largest logistics hub in North America post-USMCA. Fourth, capital opportunities are opening up. The Texas Congress has added significant funding for non-road projects such as ports, airports, and public transportation. This helps Texas diversify its travel options, reduce pollution, and make the system more sustainable in the long term. In addition, more attention is paid to training transportation human resources, aiming for a professional force that can operate a modern system in the future. And it is impossible not to mention Connecting Texas 2050, a long-term planning framework that helps Texas clearly build short-term and long-term strategies, increase transparency and efficiency in project implementation. All of these factors show that, although Texas is facing countless challenges, the opportunity to break through has never been greater. If Texas makes good use of technology, investment capital, multi-sector cooperation, and strong support from the people, this state can absolutely become one of the first places in the U.S. to escape the car-only model. This could be the turning point that moves Texas toward a more sustainable, safe, and smarter transportation system by 2050 and could serve as a model for the rest of the United States in the future. That's all for today. See you.